In the quiet town of Eldridge, nestled between snow-covered hills and frost-kissed trees, there existed a house unlike any other. Known as the Winterhaven Manor, it stood as a solitary figure against the winter night, its aged facade bearing the weight of countless tales. The townsfolk spoke in hushed tones about the strange occurrences within its walls, but none dared to venture inside after nightfall. The tale began on a bitterly cold December evening when Emma Hartley, a journalist with a penchant for the supernatural, arrived in Eldridge. Drawn to the eerie legends surrounding Winterhaven Manor, she saw an opportunity to unravel the mysteries that shrouded the old mansion. As she strolled through the snow-covered streets, the lamplights flickered in rhythm with the gentle breeze, casting elongated shadows on the narrow paths. Eldridge exuded an otherworldly charm, and Emma couldn't shake the feeling that the town held secrets waiting to be uncovered. Her investigation led her to Samuel Thorne, the town's elderly historian, who claimed to have detailed accounts of the peculiar happenings at Winterhaven Manor. Intrigued, Emma arranged to meet him at his cluttered study the next morning. As she entered the study, the air hung heavy with the scent of old books and dust. Samuel, with a mop of silver hair and a pair of round spectacles perched on his nose, welcomed her with a weary smile. "Sit down, Miss Hartley. You've opened a door to a world most would rather keep shut," Samuel warned as he handed her a cup of steaming tea. With a sip of the hot brew, Emma listened intently as Samuel began to recount the chilling history of Winterhaven Manor. The house, built in the late 1800s, belonged to the reclusive Winterhaven family. Rumors whispered that the family had dabbled in the occult, practicing dark rituals to gain power and wealth. The patriarch, Elijah Winterhaven, was said to have struck a deal with an otherworldly entity, sealing the family's fate in the process. Generations passed, and tales of mysterious disappearances and spectral sightings became synonymous with Winterhaven Manor. Locals believed the spirits of the long-departed Winterhavens haunted the halls, seeking redemption for the sins committed by their ancestors. Despite the ominous history, the Winterhaven estate remained standing, an enigmatic relic of a bygone era. Eager to delve deeper, Emma requested access to the manor. With a reluctant nod, Samuel agreed, cautioning her to tread carefully. As night fell, she stood at the gates of Winterhaven Manor, a lone figure against the canvas of snow and darkness. The grand entrance creaked open, and Emma stepped into a world frozen in time. The air within the mansion was thick with an otherworldly presence, and the temperature seemed to drop with each step she took. Armed with a flashlight and a notepad, Emma explored the manor room by room, documenting the faded grandeur and the eerie stillness that clung to the air. The walls whispered tales of forgotten secrets, and the floorboards groaned under the weight of untold stories. As she ascended the creaking staircase, Emma felt a subtle shift in the atmosphere. The air became charged with an energy that made her hair stand on end. She entered a dimly lit corridor, where the portraits of stoic Winterhaven ancestors stared down at her with hollow eyes. Suddenly, a chilling wind swept through the hallway, extinguishing her flashlight. Alone in the darkness, Emma heard faint whispers, voices from the past echoing through the silent corridors. Trembling, she fumbled for her flashlight, its feeble beam revealing the shadows of figures long gone. The whispers grew louder, and Emma could discern the anguished voices of the Winterhaven family. Each ghost seemed to share a fragment of their tragic tale, pleading for release from the shackles of the past. Driven by a mixture of fear and curiosity, Emma pressed on, guided by the haunting symphony of spectral voices. She reached the grand ballroom, where a once opulent chandelier swayed gently in the ghostly breeze. In the center of the room, a piano played a melancholic melody, its keys moving of their own accord. As Emma approached, the ghostly apparition of a young woman materialized before her. Dressed in a tattered gown, the ghostly figure introduced herself as Isabella Winterhaven, the daughter of Elijah. With a voice as fragile as a winter breeze, Isabella recounted the tragic pact her father had made, condemning the Winterhaven lineage to an eternity of restless spirits. The family's once prosperous estate had become a purgatory for souls seeking redemption. Touched by the sorrowful tale, Emma pledged to help the tormented spirits find peace. Guided by Isabella, she unraveled the mysteries of the manor, discovering hidden chambers and long-forgotten passages. The spirits grew more vocal, their stories interweaving into a tapestry of betrayal, regret, and unfulfilled desires. As Emma delved deeper, she uncovered a hidden chamber beneath the manor, adorned with cryptic symbols and artifacts linked to the occult. It became apparent that the Winterhaven family had attempted to break the curse through forbidden rituals, only to worsen their plight. The climax approached as Emma, guided by Isabella, performed a ritual to confront the malevolent entity that bound the family's spirits. The air crackled with supernatural energy as the entity manifested, a dark silhouette engulfed in an ethereal glow. Isabella pleaded with the entity, recounting the pain and suffering endured by her family. Emma, armed with newfound knowledge, demanded the entity release its grip on the Winterhaven souls. A battle of wills ensued as the entity resisted, unleashing spectral apparitions and manipulating the very fabric of reality. Emma's determination wavered, but the spirits of Winterhaven lent their strength, creating a collective force against the malevolent entity. In a burst of blinding light, the entity succumbed, its presence dissipating like morning mist. The grand ballroom fell silent, and the temperature returned to normal. The once haunted manor now stood serene, as if the weight of centuries had been lifted. As dawn painted the sky in hues of pink and gold, Emma stood at the gates of Winterhaven Manor, watching as the first rays of sunlight bathed the historic estate. The town of Eldridge awoke to a new day, and the once dreaded manor became a symbol of redemption. The townsfolk, unaware of the supernatural events that had transpired, noticed a change in the atmosphere. The air no longer carried the heaviness of a haunted past, and Winterhaven Manor stood as a testament to the power of confronting one's demons. In the weeks that followed, Eldridge flourished, and Winterhaven Manor underwent a transformation. The once abandoned mansion became a museum, preserving the history of the Winterhaven family and the courageous journalist who had unraveled its mysteries. Emma Hartley, having accomplished her mission, bid farewell to Eldridge. As she walked away from the town, the winter wind whispered tales of a journalist who had brought redemption to a house lost in time. The Winterhaven Manor, though scarred by its history, stood as a beacon of hope, its ghosts finally finding solace in the embrace of the winter night. Story 2. In the small, picturesque town of Frostburg, nestled deep within the heart of the wintry landscape, a dilapidated mansion stood in eerie silence. Known as the Hollowcroft House, its haunting presence loomed over the landscape, casting a chilling spell on anyone brave enough to gaze upon its facade. Winter nights in Frostburg were particularly unforgiving, with snow-laden winds howling through the desolate streets. It was on one such bone-chilling winter night that Evelyn Harper, an adventurous paranormal investigator with a fascination for the supernatural, arrived in Frostburg. Drawn by the tales of the Hollowcroft House, she saw an opportunity to delve into the mysteries that had shrouded the mansion for centuries. Frostburg was a town frozen in time, its cobblestone streets adorned with lampposts that flickered in the frigid air. The townspeople spoke in hushed tones about the haunted history of Hollowcroft House, warning of spectral sightings and unexplained phenomena that plagued the mansion. Local legends whispered of a tragic love story, betrayal, and a vengeful spirit that roamed the corridors. Evelyn, armed with her equipment and an insatiable curiosity, made her way to the heart of Frostburg. The snow crunched beneath her boots as she approached the looming mansion, its time-worn grandeur juxtaposed against the pristine white landscape. The air itself seemed to thicken with the weight of the tales that clung to the mansion's walls. As she stood before the imposing entrance, Evelyn could feel a subtle vibration in the air, as if the very atmosphere pulsated with the energy of the past. Undeterred, she took a deep breath and pushed open the creaking door, crossing the threshold into a world unknown. The foyer of Hollowcroft House greeted her with a gust of icy wind, as if the spirits within were testing her resolve. Undeterred, Evelyn activated her flashlight and began her exploration of the mansion's shadowy corridors. The grand staircase loomed ahead, its banisters adorned with cobwebs that danced in the cold draft. Evelyn ascended each step with trepidation, her senses heightened by the ominous silence that enveloped the mansion. It was as if time itself had frozen within the walls of Hollowcroft House. As she reached the second floor, Evelyn sensed a subtle change in the air. Whispers, soft and melancholic, echoed through the corridor. The ethereal voices seemed to beckon her towards a particular room at the end of the hall. The door of the room groaned as Evelyn pushed it open, revealing a chamber untouched by time. A grand four-poster bed stood in the center, draped in dusty curtains that billowed in the spectral breeze. Faded portraits adorned the walls, their eyes following Evelyn as she entered. A sudden drop in temperature sent shivers down her spine. The whispers grew louder, coalescing into sorrowful murmurs that told a tale of love and tragedy. The room itself seemed to come alive, memories seeping from the very walls. Evelyn learned of a forbidden love between two souls from different worlds. Eleanor Hollowcroft, the daughter of the mansion's original owner, and Victor Sterling, a humble artist from the town. Their clandestine meetings in the dead of night, hidden from the prying eyes of society, fueled a love that defied social norms. However, the tale took a dark turn when Eleanor's father discovered their secret. Consumed by rage and a sense of familial duty, he forbade their love and arranged a marriage between Eleanor and a wealthy suitor. Victor, heartbroken and desperate, made a pact with dark forces in a misguided attempt to defy fate. The marriage proceeded, but tragedy struck on the wedding night. A mysterious fire engulfed Hollowcroft House, claiming the lives of Eleanor, her new husband, and several servants. Victor, driven to madness by guilt, disappeared without a trace. Evelyn, captivated by the tragic tale, felt a deep empathy for the spirits trapped within the mansion. The love that had once bound them now manifested as a spectral force, weaving through the very fabric of the house. Determined to help the tormented souls find peace, Evelyn delved deeper into the mysteries of Hollowcroft House. She uncovered secret passages, hidden letters, and forgotten artifacts that painted a vivid picture of the ill-fated lovers and the dark forces that had bound their fates. As Evelyn explored the mansion's depths, she encountered apparitions that replayed fragments of the past. The ghostly figures of Eleanor and Victor appeared in moments of joy and sorrow, their love story eternally imprinted within the haunted walls. One night, as Evelyn navigated a labyrinthine series of underground tunnels, she stumbled upon a hidden chamber adorned with arcane symbols. In the center of the room lay an ancient tome, its pages filled with Victor's desperate pleas for redemption. It became clear that the dark pact he had made had inadvertently bound the spirits of Hollowcroft House, perpetuating their suffering. Armed with this newfound knowledge, Evelyn devised a plan to break the curse and release the trapped souls. Guided by the spectral manifestations of Eleanor and Victor, she conducted a ritual in the mansion's grand ballroom, invoking the forces that had ensnared them. The atmosphere thickened as the ritual unfolded, the temperature plummeting as an otherworldly presence manifested. The spirits of Hollowcroft House materialized, their ethereal forms intertwining in a dance of sorrow and release. In the climax of the ritual, Evelyn confronted the malevolent force that had kept the souls captive. A ghostly figure, clad in shadows, emerged, emanating an aura of ancient resentment. It was the entity to which Victor had made his ill-fated bargain. A battle of wills ensued, with Evelyn channeling the collective strength of the spirits she sought to free. The entity resisted, unleashing spectral illusions and desperate pleas for its own existence. Yet, fueled by the love that transcended death, Evelyn prevailed. In a burst of blinding light, the malevolent entity dissipated, leaving behind a serene stillness that echoed through the mansion. The temperature stabilized, and a warm, comforting breeze flowed through the once haunted corridors. Evelyn emerged from Hollowcroft House, exhausted but triumphant. As she stepped into the frosty night, she saw a spectral glow emanating from the mansion's windows. The tormented souls of Eleanor and Victor appeared one final time, expressing gratitude before fading into the afterlife. The following morning, Frostburg awoke to a transformed town. The once dilapidated Hollowcroft house now stood restored, its grandeur radiating a newfound warmth. The townspeople, unaware of the supernatural events that transpired, marveled at the mansion's revival. Evelyn, having fulfilled her mission, bid farewell to Frostburg. As she walked away from the town, the winter wind whispered tales of a courageous investigator who had unraveled the mysteries of a love that transcended death. Hollowcroft House, once a realm of spectral sorrow, now stood as a testament to the power of redemption and the enduring nature of true love, even in the darkest depths of a winter night.